Welcome back. Now the discussion begins right now. And of course, tonight we are tracking the conversation based on inspiring inclusion. And this is in line with the International Women's Day. And this particular day will be celebrated tomorrow. And of course, to help me unpack this discussion is my guest. And let me introduce them once again. Charity Mwangi, lawyer and a humanitarian director, Mini, Mr. and Miss International Kenya. Asante sana for making time. Then we have Caroline Gitau, program coordinator, Kenya Works. Asante sana, Caroline, for making time. Well, this year's theme for International Women's Day is, inspiring inclusion. And I want us to begin from there. Well, how far are we in terms of, inclusion, be it in leadership, tech space, generally? So how far are we? And I will begin with you, Charity.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Evans. Just to reintroduce myself, my name is Charity Mwangi. I am a lawyer by profession.
Okay.
I advocate for human rights, especially in regards to vulnerable groups, which are women and children. I'm also the director of Mini, Mr. and Miss International Kenya, which is an organization that basically advocates for children to take up space in the fashion industry, whereby they're able to express themselves and they're able to showcase things about sustainability.
Right.
So the discussion today regarding women and their inclusion in the society is something that is close to my heart. One, because I am a woman.
Okay.
And two, because as a lawyer, I understand the implications of women and their various rights.
Okay.
So first, to just state that the Constitution is our primary law, or the supreme law of this land, which generally talks about inclusion of women. This can be found in Article 27, where women should be included in the social, political, economic spheres as equals to men. So this is something that has been progressive, so to say. It has been progressive in the sense that there are women and girls are included in education. For instance, some years back, most girls did not go to school. But since the conversation about inclusion of women, we have seen more girls just going to school, and through that, we are able to see inclusion. So there has been inclusion in education. I think as the conversation keeps going, you can get to speak more. I'll allow my co-guest, Carol, to speak more. Thank you.
Well, Caroline, in same line with this year's theme, inspiring inclusion, and of course this has been the discussion over time. The last year it was about equality, and of course it's a trend that keeps on recurring, and there was some sort of set targets. The vision is 2030. 7 years is the year to actually that separates between the desired reality and of course achieving it. Well, so far, how will you track this conversation? How far are we in terms of inclusion, and what best can we do to actually reach there?
Well, happy that I'm here to discuss about this, and I can rate where we are in terms of getting to the 2030 target of achieving the gender parity, as we are about, let's say, three-quarter. Not yet. We are not yet at three-quarter, but it's a process, one, and we are moving towards it. The progress is impressive. I'm really happy, because looking at our culture, that is one thing that is really that's one area that is of great concern, because it's one area that where I work, we've seen it's a barrier towards achieving that gender parity, because of how different culture view or their perspective towards this gender equality means to them. So where we are right now, we are heading towards the right direction. And I think in the next few years, about like 100 years to come or more, we will be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 100 years seem to be a long-term, target. But fair enough. You've raised a very important question, or rather, in line to this discussion about culture. And of course, according to United Nations and Women and United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs highlighted some of the barriers. And one of them is lack of women in leadership and workplace discrimination and inequalities. And of course, Charity, I will come to you in this one. Well, in as much as we keep, we keep track and we make some significant gains, I will say, because the journey has been so long. But when you look at the drawback, the fallback and the barriers, what should we do to actually, try and be close to the desired reality, given the fact that these are some of the, predominant barriers that keep on recurring every time, because it's something that we have seen over the time. Discrimination is there. When you go to the, the social norms, the tradition, let's talk about religion, custom, these are something that are embedded in our society and we have to do something about it. So talk to me about this.
Thank you so much, Evans, for that. My take on the cultural aspect of women, how women are discriminated culturally, this will include practices that are there in our society. We cannot ignore them because they are there. This include like female genital mutilation, that is FGM. We also have early child marriages, where we find that girls at a very tender age are married off to older men. And things like that discriminate girls, whereby they don't get equal opportunities as their peers who are in the male gender. Also, the issues of FGM bring different problems, including, for instance, when the women are mutilated, we find they can find things like overbleeding during that process. Some of them even contract diseases such as HIV. We find others have problems even during childbirth, and these are various discriminations. We find they even have low self-esteem for some of the girls who encounter that. And this is something that can be addressed. And, even our constitution, it talks about whereby the customs, where we find our customs or our norms, our cultural norms are repugnant to the constitution. That means that they should be null and void. So I think we have a challenge because the conversation about FGM has been spoken about for a very long period. And I think each and every person needs to come to the reality that this is happening and it needs to be stopped. So even the leaders in areas where such things are happening need to take up the space and ensure that it does not happen. If I give instances, probably in places where it is normal, you even find some girls run away and go and just get mutilated because they know, for instance, they will not get married if they have not gone through the FGM. You find there are communities that have that. So it is very important for education to be offered in such places whereby it's not seen as if the FGM is the good thing or the right practice, and they're able to learn about the various disadvantages and how it disadvantages the girls, etc., etc. So that way we are able to achieve a better community, which is inclusive. Yeah.
Okay. And Caroline, according to United Nations still, they believe that women has potential, and of course they have potential, if you ask me. And in areas of, let's talk about science, technology, we have politics, and of course environment. These are some of the, space and opportunities that, if you ask me, is not fully tapped into. And they can really contribute a great significant in terms of, impacting change, ideas, and even innovative skills in regard to this. But, the worrying trend is some consider this to be, the male-dominated field, the stereotype in the society, and we talk about the culture, and of course some of the drawbacks and the hindrance in terms of achieving this inclusion. Well, you work with the community, and of course you can lay bare the reality on the ground. You can paint to us a real picture. Now, of course, we know what is there, but of course the conversation should be what can be done to make sure that, in as much as yes, we know the problem, we can actually work forward in trying to bring the solution. Because if you were to actually achieve this gender inclusion, then we have to tackle the problem one step at a time. Talk to me.
Okay, exactly. I hear you. It is very true. First, we need to realize that if we really want to see the change and include women in everything, in every aspect of all what you've just mentioned, we need to first make them realize the potential they have themselves. It starts within, not without. So if you inspire a woman and make them realize what they have themselves, and also ensure that we as women are the first, we are the first ones to make sure that we are supporting our fellow women. That is really huge. First, we need to empower each other. First of all, I would like to just say or mention what we do at Kenya Works. We really inspire by empowering women in different areas. First of all, it's through education. First, you realize that education is key. We need the knowledge to be able to know which area one is talented in and what best they can engage into. So through that, through gaining skills, women are able to explore more and even be able to do what is expected of them, stand with their families, shine. I really love it when I see young girls wanting to be like their mothers who have maybe made it in life. They have role models who are women in power, in politics, in different aspects of life. So through making a woman believe that they have the potential, so it is by making them believe first of all in themselves, and also women themselves being supporters of their fellow women. Yeah.
All right. And another very important point, empowerment. And this talks about, is it lack of, self-belief in women? Because when we go by the statistics, and of course, I'm talking about the census population, women actually constitute, let's say, majority than men here in Kenya. And of course, when you go around, even we can count the female governors that we have, the women in leadership that we have, and yet women are the majority. So why is it so difficult for women to actually rally behind one of their own? What is happening?
Okay. Thank you for that. I think that is a conversation around how women can be involved in the political sphere. And we know that we need to achieve the 2/3 gender rule, whereby we have 2/3 of either gender in appointive and elective positions. And I think that is an issue that was actually discussed today, whereby the president was saying that we need to have at least a running mate when it comes to the presidential elections, whereby the running mate is a lady, or either if it's a female running mate, then the other one is a male. So I think this is something that is progressive. However, we are still a little bit laid back when it comes to women in politics, and I think this is something that needs to be addressed. Even the 2/3 gender rule needs to be passed, where we have 2/3 of maybe politicians, the legislators in parliament who are of either gender. This is to ensure that the women are there in the decision-making process. It is very unfortunate that most of the leaders are male, whereby we have a lot of women who have the potential and who are able to represent women's agendas when it comes to in terms of legislation. So this is something that can actually be achieved, and I think the solution to this is for more women to be empowered to take up space when it comes to leadership, and also not to discriminate women when they take up such positions, because we have seen in politics sometimes when women take elective positions, or when they are campaigning, sometimes people, I think it's because the society is a bit patriarchal, they tend to bring up issues relating to their gender. Probably they say this woman is involved in this and this scandal, and that brings them down when it comes to political, rallying. So I think for this to be achieved, we need even for the male counterparts to hold women and to, just motivate them when it comes to these political, the political rallies and all that, and even for women to support each other. I think even when we have the position of the women rep, that is a good step that we have taken, whereby at least we have 47 women reps for each and every county. However, we still have more potential for all other leadership positions. So I think achievement of the 2/3 gender role is something that can be done, and hopefully in the next elections we will have more women. I can also participate in being a women rep somewhere, because in my county, Nakuru County.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Caroline, the discussion about women in politics and leadership is a discussion that, it's need a whole lot of approach. First of all, it's about you convincing your fellow, let's say it could be women and of course the men, and actually speaking to the narrative out there, because when you go again by the census, it's some sort of 50-50 affair, but women are the majority. So that means if we were to talk about the conversation about inclusion, about women in leadership, even in tech space, then it will require a lot of effort from women to actually back one of their own. Well, in Kenya we tried. We have the affirmative action, that is we have 47 women rep. Do you think it's about time maybe we have another affirmative action in regard to this? But how long will it take actually to achieve that? Because we need to change this in terms of the umbrella itself, because there's some countries that have made it. We have countries that have female leaders, like for example, we have the likes of Liberia was one. We have our neighbors here, Tanzania. So what does it take to be there?
Wow. When I hear you say that, I really can picture a really beautiful turnout when you have really many women who are leaders in our country. As you know, I believe, because I've seen it, where we have women leaders, things really flow out really well, because I believe women have something unique in them. When they start something, it really flourishes so well. And I think there's one thing we need to start from. We need to start down from the grassroots. Let's look at our chiefs. We start down there from the communities. What is the perspective of our communities back in the village? Can they support a chief who is a woman to lead them? This starts with different communities. Do the communities we have in Kenya support women leadership? Start still at our home place. How do we take up women in just our household, from that small unit, our family unit? How do we perceive women in leadership? This means a man in that house and their wife, probably, how do they two relate when it comes to leadership? So it starts down from our family unit all the way to the village, and later to the national level. So I believe when we strategize well and begin right from the family unit, things will flow as we would like it to be by 2030.
All right. And of course, I'm a believer of change, and I believe this, it's a long shot, and it might take time. But this, of course, introduces another question. Well, the bridge seems to be too far to actually climb the reality on the ground. It's not me, but that's how it is. And one of the key areas, or rather according to UN Women Report, it's lack of role model and motivation. So that is where I think we should tilt this discussion. So basically, who is motivating who, and who is the role model in this case?
Well, they are the leader. We already have women leaders in positions, right? We have the governors, and I think this year we had the majority of women being governors, which is really motivating. I believe by that is a motivational factor on itself. So you'll find so many women or young girls being aspiring to be governors, aspiring to be leaders in the various positions that they are in. And this doesn't mean that men are not doing good when it comes to this. This is a matter of inclusivity, making women part of these leadership positions, making women, they have something in them, they have talent in them. Let's make use of them so that we can move even faster together, and move even far. So I believe that women who are already in the leadership positions, they should make sure that when they come from those positions, because they know they're there for some time, for some period, when they come from there, they need to have already mentored more other women who can be able to take up those leadership positions and ensure that they excel in those leadership positions that they are in. Ensure that they come up with laws and rules that are really meaningful to the nation, which are moving us from one level to the other. Because I know women have the potential to do this.
All right. And Charity, we have seen women who have been, tried and tested. And I want to draw your attention to a very, is a first sitting governor, of course. I'm talking about Gladys Wanga. According to Mzalendo Trust report, she's ranked the best. Well, when you talk about motivation and role model, what kind of message does it send, of course, when you see a woman, governor, and of course being ranked top, and actually serves as a motivation to aspiring future leaders, like, for example, you have ambition. So what message, or rather what motivation should we look out for?
All right. I think first, just to give a little bit of background, when it comes to the Sustainable Development Goals, we have goal number 5, which is on gender equality. And so gender equality means that women are included or are given equal opportunity when it comes to even, as you mentioned, like the political arena.
All right.
So if you can look at statistics, women in the world are about half. We have half, so it means half women have we have half of the potential.
All right.
By that, it means that when women are given an opportunity to do something, they're able to do it very well.
Okay.
And I'm not surprised that a woman governor was ranked the best, because even when you look at households, we find that women are really able to ensure that the household is up and running. And therefore being a governor, it means that it's a managerial position, so to say. So when it comes to management, women are very serious, and they stand on business when it comes to that. So I think this conversation about inclusion is, if women are given the opportunity, they're able to do exceedingly well, and they're able to excel at their tasks, and you may really find that women are accountable. So since we find that women are accountable when it comes to being given the funds that governors are given, they're able to work well with the funds that they have, and therefore they're able to be accountable in their work. So I think these are some of the role models that ladies have, and by that, it means in the next election we'll have more women who are already qualified standing up for these positions, because they have been tried and tested, and it has worked. So that will be my take on that issue.
All right, and because we're running out of time, so I'll give you each 1 minute for your closing remark, and I'll begin with you, Caroline.
Okay. I'm really happy that you are all celebrating Women's Day. I'm happy to see men supporting this crucial day. It's really important that men to be part of this. We can't say that women are the only ones who will celebrate Women's Day. And when I see men being part of this, it shows the inclusivity. It is real. It is actually inclusivity is being practiced, and I really love it because when I see men and women working together to achieve the best. So I'll really encourage at each and every level we have both women and men recognized in equality. That is.
All right. And of course, Charity, your closing remark.
On my closing remark, I'll just talk about the social aspect of inclusivity when it comes to women. I think if we ended this interview without talking about the femicide that has been ongoing, it will really be an issue. It will really be unfair even to our viewers. So I think we all know that there has been a lot of female killings where women have been killed in different circumstances, and it has actually become like a trend where each and every time when we watch the news, we find that there is a lady who has been killed, who has been thrown off her flat, and all that. And for some people, there's some people who are really, most people speaking against it, but there are others who are like, they deserve it. And from a human rights perspective, I will really rebuke such kind of thinking, because the right to life is an absolute right which should not be taken away under any circumstance. So even when you look at the capital offenses in Kenya, which include robbery with violence, murder, and all that, when we have the death penalty, it does not it does not allow people to be hanged. You see, so no one can justify the killing of anyone, a human being, under any circumstance. And I think this is something that should be frowned upon, and everyone in the society should be able to stand against this kind of behavior and not encourage the males who are participating in such things and feel that they are justified to do the same, because this is encouraging murder. And even for the ladies out there, it's important for you to take care of yourself in whatever circumstances. Thank you.
Okay. So, ladies, thank you so much for making time. That is Charity Mwangi, lawyer and humanitarian director, Mini Mr. and Miss International Kenya, and of course Caroline Gitau, program coordinator, Kenya Works. Asante sana for making time. And of course, this has been very important discussion in regard to International Women's Day. Remember, tomorrow is the date, and of course, Kenya, just like the rest of the world, will be celebrating the achievement and the milestone that women has made, even as they reflect on the journey and of course the steps and the way what to be done to actually, achieve the desired, destination. And of course, in this year's the theme is inspiring inclusion, and that will be what to actually track and of course to follow on. So thank you so much for all who have made this production a success. Many thanks. My name is Auma Evans. Samuel Kelo has been our sign language tonight. Until next time, it's a bye-bye. Do have a lovely night.